Is Travis Kelce finally falling off? Or are we just too obsessed with tearing down our heroes? In 2024, the NFL world watched in disbelief as the so-called GOAT tight end put up his worst numbers in nearly a decade. Just 823 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. That's not just a dip. It's a free fall for someone who used to dominate every game he touched. For context, Kelce averaged over 1,000 yards for 7 straight seasons before this. Suddenly he looked slower, less involved, almost irrelevant? Critics didn't hold back. Some accused him of being more focused on his celebrity lifestyle than football. And even Shaquille O'Neal, a legend in his own right, publicly blasted the Chiefs' play calling, saying they completely failed to use Kelce when it mattered most, especially in that painfully awkward Super Bowl loss. So, was this a coaching problem? Or is Kelce just past his prime? But here's where things get interesting, because while the stats were falling, something else was rising: drama. And it wasn't coming from the field. Let's be honest, Travis Kelce didn't just fall out of headlines. He exploded into them. While his on-field production slipped, his name was everywhere, but for all the wrong reasons. Suddenly, it wasn't his hands, routes, or touchdowns people were talking about. It was his relationship. Dating the most famous pop star on the planet, Taylor Swift, turned Kelce into a tabloid centerpiece. Red carpets, paparazzi, speculation about wedding bells. It was a circus. And while the headlines raved about Trailer, football fans started asking a different question. Was Kelce distracted? When news broke that he skipped Chiefs training camp to stay with Swift after a high-profile wedding appearance, fans and even some teammates started to raise eyebrows. Was he prioritizing personal fame over professional performance? For a guy known for his laser focus and tight chemistry with Patrick Mahomes, this was a massive red flag, and the noise didn't stop there. Social media exploded with theories, memes, even accusations that Kelce had become Hollywood soft. The NFL's most feared tight end was now being mocked as a pop star accessory. But here's the twist. That media storm was only the beginning, because what surfaced next would take the controversy to a whole new level. Just when you thought the headlines couldn't get any messier, they did. In early 2025, an old clip resurfaced that made waves across sports media. A younger Travis Kelce, in a surprisingly candid interview, admitted he'd once failed multiple drug tests in college, something that nearly derailed his entire football career before it even started. Sure, it wasn't breaking news, but the timing was explosive. Why? Because suddenly, fans started asking, was this just a wild college phase? Or is there more to the story? Some began to speculate. Conspiracy threads on Reddit lit up with theories about his 2024 slump. Was it really just age and distraction, or something deeper? Whispers of substance issues began swirling again, fueled by his visible weight loss, erratic interviews, and bizarre on-field behavior late in the season. And it didn't help when rumors hit that he was considering retirement, right after a disappointing playoff run. Sports outlets scrambled for answers. His reps denied it, but the doubt stuck. Even more bizarre? A PR firm tied to Kelce was caught quietly issuing takedown requests to online forums and blogs that discussed his supposed condition. That only added fuel to the fire. Why try to erase something unless there's something worth hiding? So now, the question wasn't just about performance or distraction. It was about control. Was Kelce losing it? And just when the internet seemed ready to write his legacy off entirely, when he fired back, just when the noise hit its peak, Kelce went quiet. No dramatic press conference, no fiery Instagram post, just silence, and then work. Insiders started leaking whispers that Kelce had locked himself in training mode, determined to shut down the narrative that he was finished. And soon, footage surfaced. He looked leaner, faster, sharper, like a man on a mission. When reporters questioned his sudden weight drop, he shrugged it off. Just trimming the fat, he said with that classic Kelce smirk. But beneath the smile, something had changed. This wasn't party boy Kelce. This was Revenge Tower Kelce. He dismissed the retirement rumors as laughable, saying he had zero plans of walking away. In fact, sources close to the Chiefs say he's more locked in now than he's been in years. Less media, less noise, no missed camps, no distractions. And whether it was pressure, pride, or both, he seemed hungry again. He even hinted that critics would be real quiet come the 2025 season opener. But here's the thing, grit isn't enough in today's NFL. Comebacks require more than motivation. They need proof. And the real question is, can Travis Kelce still dominate, or has the game finally passed him by? Let's talk numbers, because in fantasy football, Travis Kelce used to be untouchable. Year after year, he wasn't just a good tight end, he was the difference maker. In most leagues, having Kelce was like having a cheat code. Double-digit points every week, consistency, clutch plays. He was first-round draft material, something almost unheard of for a tight end. But in 2024, that dominance disappeared. Fantasy owners watched in frustration as Kelce became wildly inconsistent. One week, he'd show flashes of the old monster. Next week, barely 3 points. Reddit threads lit up with titles like, "Is Kelce finally washed?" and "Biggest draft bust of the year?" And yet, here's the twist. Despite his slump, he still finished as a top 5 fantasy TE. That's how weak the position is, and how high his floor remains. Even on a bad year, Kelce was still outperforming half the league. So the debate started to shift. Maybe he's not fantasy royalty anymore. But in real life, on real tape, he still showed flashes of elite separation, precise footwork, and mind-meld chemistry with Mahomes that nobody else in the league has. So what do you call a guy who's no longer perfect, but still better than almost everyone else? Some say overrated, others call that undeniable greatness, but it gets deeper, because Kelce's not just fighting stats, he's fighting something much harder to control: public perception. Here's the truth nobody wants to admit: greatness fades, but legacy, that sticks. Travis Kelce has spent over a decade redefining his position. We're talking about a guy with 9 Pro Bowls, multiple Super Bowl rings, and over 12,000 receiving yards, the most by a tight end in playoff history. That's not hype, that's history. And yet, in just one season, people started acting like all of that didn't matter. Like he was just some flash-in-the-pan media star who got lucky riding Mahomes' coattails. The disrespect hit fast and hit hard. It's wild how quickly the NFL turns on its own. One down year, a few off-field distractions, and suddenly fans are throwing around words like washed, overrated, a liability. But if that's true, why are defensive coordinators still planning entire schemes to stop him? Why is Mahomes still looking his way on 3rd and long? The truth is, when a player dominates for that long, the bar isn't just raised, it's weaponized. People don't just expect greatness, they demand it. And the moment you slip even slightly, the crowd that once praised you turns on you like you never earned it. But here's the uncomfortable question that still lingers. What if this isn't a decline, but just a dip? So let's lay it all out. Yes, Travis Kelce had a rough season. The stats dipped, the headlines exploded, the criticism got louder. But here's the twist no one talks about. He's still showing up when it matters most. In the playoffs, he led the team in receptions. In crunch time, Mahomes still trusts him more than anyone else on the field. That kind of chemistry isn't built overnight. It's built through years of clutch plays, brutal hits, and unshakable confidence. So maybe the real issue isn't Kelce's decline. Maybe it's our obsession with tearing down legends the moment they show any weakness. We love a rise, we love a fall, but we rarely respect the grind in between, the part where legends evolve, adapt, and prove people wrong without saying a word. Is he still the best tight end in the league? That's debatable. But is he still one of the most dangerous weapons on any field on any Sunday? That's not even a question. So before you write him off, ask yourself this: are we watching the end of an era or just the next chapter of a career that was never supposed to last this long in the first place? Travis Kelce isn't just another player on the decline. He's a mirror, reflecting how fast fans flip, how media spins a narrative, and how even legends can't escape the backlash of fame. One season, one relationship, one rough stretch, and suddenly, the guy who rewrote the tight end position is being labeled overrated. But here's what the critics can't erase: the clutch catches, the game-winning drives, the cold-blooded dominance on the biggest stages in football. Is he still at his peak? Probably not. Is he finished? Not even close. In the end, calling Travis Kelce overrated says more about us than it does about him, because maybe the real question isn't, is he still great? Maybe it's this: why do we always need our heroes to fall just to feel something again?